What's up, guys? This is Miles here with Ascendo Sports, and by the title of this video, you know what I'm going to be getting to. But first, as I do in every video, I'm not just going to jump into my opinions. We're going to go over what happened, and then go over some stats of the players involved, and then give some more input that is all factual before I'll start rambling into my opinion. So first, let's talk about the actual trade. The Texans have traded DeAndre Hopkins and a late round pick to the Arizona Cardinals for running back David Johnson and a second round pick. That has been reported. It's been confirmed. They've both tweeted out. Both the teams have tweeted out. Both players have spoke on it. So that's all confirmed. And that wasn't the only thing including the deal. There was also some more picks. Additionally, the Cardinals also receive a 4th round pick in this year's draft, while the Texans get a 2nd round pick this year and a 4th round selection in 2021. So that's the whole deal. And first, on face value, yes, this is terrible. This might be the biggest heist we've seen in a long time. It's the biggest heist I can remember in the past few years. Hopkins, without a doubt, is a top 5 receiver, maybe even top 3, depending on where you put Michael Thomas, Odell, Julio Jones, all of that. So looking at his stats this year, he had 104 receptions for 1,165 yards and 7 touchdowns, which is definitely really good, but he's had multiple seasons better than this season. I'm going to show you his career stats right here for receptions. He's had 5 1,000-yard receiving seasons, which is ridiculous. 2 of those being in the 1,500s. This year before, he had 1,572 yards with 11 receiving touchdowns. And the year before that, had 13 receiving touchdowns with almost 1,400 yards. And then another 1,500-yard season. So he's definitely a top receiver in the league. Now, David Johnson did not have a great year this year. Definitely not on the ground. But when you put his rushing and receiving together, it doesn't look that bad. I'll show you here in a second. But he used to be, just 2 years ago, it was discussed if he was one of the top running backs in the league, and now he's definitely fell off, or at least in this system. He had 94 rushes this year for 345 yards with only 2 touchdowns, 13 games played. Now, that's not horrible. 3.7 yards tipped isn't bad. Maybe if he got more attempts, he'd have much better stats. So I have highlighted last year's stats, not this previous year, but the year before, where he had 940 rushing yards, 7 touchdowns, with almost 500 receiving yards and 3 receiving touchdowns, which shows that, hey, he does have talent, and maybe the system just wasn't focused on getting him the ball as much as giving the rookie quarterback opportunities. But this year, he had more receiving yards than he did rushing, and more receiving touchdowns than rushing. So, yeah, he's not horrible. He's a pretty balanced back. But we all know that this trade is a bad trade. And then it came out that there was a power struggle in the locker room. And then we got a ton of information from Michael Irvin about why this really happened, why they traded him. So I said, tell me what happened in Houston. And he went into it. He told me, Michael, it was a bit of a power struggle there because Coach O'Brien thought Hopkins had too much influence over the locker room. He called DeAndre Hopkins in a meeting to talk about this, and I kind of guess hash it out. In that meeting, he started the meeting with telling DeAndre Hopkins this. That blew my mind when DeAndre told me this. He told DeAndre Hopkins, hey, the last time I had to have a meeting like this, it was with Aaron Hernandez. I was like, what? He put Aaron Hernandez in this meeting? He said, yes, he did. He said, Michael, that blew my mind that he would even bring that up. I never have been in trouble. I don't even know why he would equate me with Aaron Hernandez. So that was huge, and that was not the only thing that Bill O'Brien said. And from there, the meeting just deteriorated. You know, he got into talking about DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins has a few kids from different women, and he told DeAndre he doesn't like that he has his baby mamas around sometimes. And from that, I think the relationship just went bad. And thus, we got a trade of Hopkins from Houston for basically, like I said earlier, a ham sandwich, all because of that relationship. So first off, what the hell? Who does Bill O'Brien think he is that he can compare his star receiver to Aaron Hernandez as if he's sitting down, a child, at a table in a meeting for a professional organization? You were paying this guy millions of dollars. You know, my boss, my manager cannot compare me to a murderer and get away with it, let alone a GM and head coach of the Houston Texans. So who do you think you are? You are a 500 subpar coach that just made maybe one of the worst trades this decade, maybe in the 2000s. And then getting into DeAndre Hopkins' personal life, comparing him to Hernandez, and then saying you don't like his baby mamas around. Are you kidding me? Like, this is a joke. This is an absolute joke. Bill O'Brien should be fired. And think about how this affects free agents. What player would want to play with a coach and an active GM that compares them to murderers and talks about their personal life, especially their kids and the women that they have kids with. That's just ridiculous. Now, gonna come from the Cardinals side of this. This is a huge heist for the Cardinals. Now you don't have to draft a receiver in the first round. You just gave your young quarterback, Kyler Murray, one of the best targets in the league, and you got rid of David Johnson's bad contract, and you only really had to give up one pick because you're also getting one pick back from the second pick you gave. So back to the Texans. I don't know how you could possibly play with a guy that just traded your star player away for nothing because he was upset with him after he made comments comparing him to a murderer and comparing, it's hard to fathom that they could get away with this. And it's hard to fathom that the Texans have not already fired him or that the league hasn't made a statement, because that is definitely inappropriate in a workplace. And I just don't understand how anybody could get away with this and how it didn't come out sooner. If I was DeAndre Hopkins, as soon as I got traded, I would have blasted the Texans. But of course, he has class and he's a professional, and that's why he didn't do this, apparently, because if somebody has his power, they could easily take to Twitter and ramble on and expose this whole organization and trade, or they could go to Instagram Live and easily expose, or they could just give any analyst or TV show a call up and say, hey, I want to go up there and tell what really happened my side of the story. And right then, that goes, it's trending. And he didn't even do it and it's trending. He told Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin told, I don't remember what show it was, but he told somebody what happened, and now it's blowing up. So imagine if Hopkins wanted to do that personally, but of course, he has class, and he's not the man that Bill O'Brien is. So he's not sitting here criticizing somebody's personal life and personal choices and comparing them to a murderer, which it's just hard to believe that the Texans let this happen, that nobody around said, hey, maybe we shouldn't let this guy trade our franchise player, one of the best receivers in the league, for a ham sandwich just because he made inappropriate comments toward him. It blows my mind, and I don't have much else to say because, what's the future for the Texans? Deshaun Watson now has his best target gone, and now you have David Johnson, who is on a horrible contract and going to be 29 next year. So that's the future for the Texans because you gave the keys to your franchise over to a complete moron. But that's about all I have to say in this video. Good luck, Arizona, with your new star. And hope everybody's safe during this quarantine and hope your family's safe. Have a great day, and let me know what you think about this deal. Thanks for watching.